Somebody else that never disappoints ever in the Espresso Kitchen, Chef Zozo.
Hey, you.
Very nice to see you.
Thank you.
Are you feeling a bit under the weather today?
A little under the weather, yeah.
Oh, she's feeling a little under the weather.
Just a little, but I would never disappoint, like you said.
You will never disappoint.
So here I am, here I am.
So come rain or shine, you will bring out the best food.
Oh, yes.
So we are making a very interesting recipe this morning.
Yes, we are. I'm just going to turn
cocoa-covered steak.
These steaks over before we even start, so they cook
Brian,
perfectly.
this early in the morning. It's my kind of woman.
Okay, so we are making cocoa crusted steaks.
Cocoa crusted steaks.
And I know it sounds a little unusual, but I promise you it's not, because cocoa isn't really sweet. It's got a little bitterness, but if you add a bit of sweetness when you're marinating things, it also helps with the caramelization when you're cooking.
All right.
Okay,
well,
so let's
I look
start.
forward to this recipe, yes.
So here we've got some smoked paprika.
Yes.
So it adds the smoke before you even get it onto
a
a
nice,
smoky pan.
intense flavor as well.
Oh, yes. And then a pinch of salt.
All right.
It's good for flavor. Here we've got some brown sugar, so we're adding a little extra sugar so that it caramelizes, as I said. This is some cracked black pepper. Steak is always nice with like coarsely cracked pepper.
That's it.
It just adds a bit of texture. And then a bit of chili in there. And then our secret ingredient, or master ingredient, is the cocoa powder. As I said, it's not sweet, so it adds a nice bitterness, and it's also like a rounded flavor.
Exactly.
It's really nice on steak.
And it's nice that you have the chili in there that's going to go with that. It's a little bit of chocolatey, I mean, but also the sugar will combat that bitterness as well,
Yes,
I'm
this
sure.
is true. And we're using the Nestle cocoa powder here.
All right.
Okay, then I've got a beautiful piece of steak. I cook it with the fat on. If you don't want to eat the fat, you can just take it off before you eat it.
Okay.
But it also keeps the steak a little moist.
Yes.
So what you want to do is rub this generously.
Just like that?
Just like
no
this.
oil first or nothing?
I mean, you can put oil on first, but I put oil on just before I cook it.
Okay.
So, yeah, and then you want to marinate this for about an hour.
Okay.
Well, if you don't have an hour, like 30 minutes will do.
Yes.
If you don't have 30 minutes, then just go ahead.
Just go ahead.
Go ahead and do it straight away. But obviously, the longer that you leave it, the more the flavor seeps into the milk.
Exactly.
The meat itself.
The meat.
Okay, so we leave that to go.
Perfect.
And you can see our steaks are cooking beautifully here.
Don't they just look mouth-watering? Now, a little nutritional information on this dish. If you take a look at the total kilojoules that this dish yields, it goes 2,154, and it also yields about 25% of your daily iron requirements, and it's, of course, very high in protein, which is a great thing as well.
Oh, yes. Yes, that steak helps with the protein.
Yeah. Now, what are we making with it, though?
Okay, so we're making with it some potatoes. Banting people, look away, avert your eyes. If you were on the banting diet, obviously you can't have carbs.
Yes.
So maybe do the same process with cauliflower or something like that.
So just the banting diet, just a quick recap. So it's high fat, low carbs.
No, it's low carb, high fat, and high protein.
Low carb, high fats, and high protein.
Exactly.
Okay, so this is a kind of a good example?
That part's a very good example.
That part's a good example.
This part, not so much. As I said, swap out the potatoes for something like cauliflower, because then there's no carbs.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
So you're going to use your brute strength, not too much of that muscle. Just gently crush those potatoes. There you go.
Look
just
at them. They
push
are
them
nice
down.
and soft already.
So we open up the potatoes just so that we can get a bit of flavor in there.
Yeah, so you leave the skins on, obviously.
Leave the skins on. Great roughage, great fiber. Okay. Then to that, we add a bit of butter. Just a little bit. For about 4 people, you could, get away with a teaspoon of butter, if anything. We're a bit generous over there.
There's one more.
And then for a bit of onion flavor to our potatoes, that's good. That's enough.
Just like that. You don't want to go fine.
No, we don't want mash. We just want crushed potatoes here. So I'm going to change your implement to that. Then in here, some chives. Those are chopped chives, just for a bit of onion flavor, which is always nice. And then instead of using regular cream, we're using some Nestle evaporated milk, but we're using the low-fat evaporated milk. So obviously that reduces the amount of fat in there. So just a smidge, just to add a bit of creaminess to that.
Oh, this is starting to look amazing already.
Our steaks are almost done.
Now, we are making a cocoa crusted steak this morning. Delicious looking recipe. You can try your hand at this. SMS the keyword Nestle to 33728. That's Nestle. To 33728, we'll send you the shopping list. We'll also add a link to the recipe that you can go follow. Just keep in mind that SMS do cost R1.50, but if you do SMS, you'll also be automatically entered into the draw to win yourself a Nestle hamper worth 500 Rand.
Okay,
how's this looking?
That looks delicious. I didn't season it, so I'm just going to put a little bit of salt in there.
All right.
Just a smidge,
Give it
and then
another
we're
stir.
ready to plate. What we've done is we've steamed some green beans, because a bit of green when you're having meat and potatoes is always great. So I'm just going to dish some up. And look how beautiful. Just crushed potatoes, not mashed potatoes.
I like it that you don't mash it completely.
It was very in vogue a few years ago. I don't know if I'm behind the times and it's totally gone out of fashion, but in my books it's still
Zola
it's
just brought it back into fashion. That's it. Oh, wow. So I'll tell you what, while we dish this up and make it look all pretty, here's our cocoa crusted steak recipe once more.
Mix cocoa, paprika, pepper, chili flakes, salt and sugar. Rub onto the steaks, then leave to marinate. Cook steak on a hot griddle pan. Leave steak to rest. Crushed boiled potatoes with a fork. Add butter, evaporated milk, chives, salt and pepper. Serve steak with potatoes and steamed green beans. For the full recipe, visit the Espresso Morning Show Facebook page or log on to www.expressoshow.com. SMS the keyword Nestle to 33728 to receive the full shopping list on your phone. Click on the link provided to view the recipe on our Mobi site. SMSs cost R1.50, no free SMSs, T's and C's apply.
And there you have it, that keyword one more time, Nestle to 33728. SMS that will send you everything you need to know to make this delicious recipe, and you'll automatically be entered into the draw to win yourself a Nestle hamper worth 500 Rand.
Yes.
Zola,
that's a good way to start a day, hey?
I want to say a hearty breakfast.
It is.
But it can go as a breakfast this morning. Very, very delicious. Thank you so much for coming through. Hope you feel better soon.
Oh, thank you.
Zozo under the weather a little bit. We're gonna pamper her, make her feel
I'll eat
all
some steak,
better.
I'll be fine.
Eat some steak, I'll be fine. Right, we're gonna take a quick ad break. Don't go away. After the ad break, the rescue's here to rock you into this Tuesday morning. Stay with us.
Nestle. Love to cook. Cook with love.